Hey, and thanks for watching BSGcast. He's Matt. I'm Nat.
I'm Kat.
And I'm not.
We're here in Las Vegas for the premiere of Season 4, which we've all been very, very excited about.
Yes, it's been quite an interesting premiere and an awesome party. And we've got some fantastic fans who are all here with us, and it's going to be the biggest... And so, yeah, this is going to be the biggest, loudest BSG cast yet. So, to start off, we're going to start talking about, chronologically, Anders. What happened? Was he registering as a Cylon to another Cylon?
Did the Cylon know he was a Cylon?
Thoughts, questions, comments?
You first.
I think the Cylon knew he was a Cylon, and he was not just activated, he was already activated.
Mm-hmm.
What she said.
All right. All right. And anybody in the audience? Thoughts, questions, comments?
I just think he's just really confused. He wants to be a Cylon, but, you know, he just likes to act a human.
You think Andrew wants to be a Cylon?
He's confused.
Interesting.
His wife just told him she'd put a bullet in his head if that were the case.
I think he was activated because when he was doing the Resistance, he met so many like Cylon models, but they didn't register him. But as soon as he went to the Nebula and he was activated, then ta-da! Guess what? You know what you are.
Okay, if you take a look at the scene, the red eye hits his eyes. His eyes went red for just a second there, like a transference of information. That's when they called off the attack.
You got it.
I think the Raiders and the Sentinels just gained a notch in intelligence there. If they're the only ones that can see him and the other models can't, there's going to be something going on there.
Interesting, yeah.
Interesting, because it's true. Boomer interacted with Anders, and she didn't seem to, at least, admit or think or anything like
That's
that.
true.
Show any kind of recognition, right?
You want to know why?
Why?
I bet you do.
You're cruel.
This is going to be an excruciating 8 more minutes, I can tell. All right, so then moving right along to the critical question. Baltar, savior, pimp. Discuss.
Well, I mean, like, even before we saw the premiere, we were discussing how he has a serious Jesus kind of archetype going on, or the Messiah or the prophet kind of archetype. And I mean, even, you know, down to the way he looks with the long hair and the beard, it's
When he was praying like this.
yeah, exactly. And she's like, it's beautiful the way you're praying, as though she's never seen someone pray like that
He
before.
looked like Jesus.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, I can tell you there was a little
Yeah.
a line or two edited out of there. She said it's so beautiful how you're praying, you know, unapologetically out there in the open for everybody to see, as opposed to up to an altar or something like that. So that's kind of what she meant by that. But you know, 41 minutes. You have only so much time to tell a story, so a line gets edited here or there.
Yeah,
That's kind of what she meant by that.
It was actually pretty awesome sitting behind Kevin as we were watching the episode, because every now and again he'd say, yeah, and then this part was edited out. And you'd get to hear the line. It's like, oh man! It's like having the DVD box set already. All right, so everybody else, what do you think? Ding, 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 ding.
I think Baltar is the ultimate pimp. I mean, his genius is the fact that he finds himself in these opportunistic situations, and he's such a narcissist that he just kind of goes with it. And it happens to him, and he plays into it, and his ultimate survivalist just keeps going and keeps going. He's like, okay, now I can go on another day. Now I'm a prophet. Okay, how do I play this out? And it just keeps going and going and going. He duped Hilo, he duped Gata, and now he's going to dupe this band of women that think he's some kind of prophet.
Yeah, it looks. I think it looks really cool. The fact that, judging by the preview for next week's episode, we've got some kind of insurgence happening in the Cylons, and with the monotheistic god happening also to the Colonials, we've got this other insurgence happening on the Colonials. So these power bases are starting to implode on themselves and starting to take on each other's characteristics. So I think it's very neat to see where that's going to be going.
And then just on the topic of, I guess, the whole savior thing, Six is now wearing a power suit, which we were both like, what's the deal with that? I mean, she used to have this sort of sexual feminine power over him before, and now it's just like, she's got control. She's a strong, angelic figure almost, right? She's like sending the message of God, like there's one true God. You know, what else did she say?
Well, I mean, she was basically just there to reaffirm. I mean, in the episode, was it Hand of God? In Hand of God, when the first time Baltar was like, "Oh crap, maybe I am God's instrument," and here it is happening again. It's like
where he literally is like God's instrument,
and he's getting
she's
convinced.
kind of the middleman.
Yeah, totally.
I'm kind of concerned. Like, how does she feel about the fact that he's becoming a pimp? He's in this room full of. There's like one other guy in the room. Like, how does she feel about this?
She's been dealing with him being a pimp for years now. I don't know.
Yeah, she has.
She has. All right, so moving on to Starbuck. Is she a prophet? What's going on? Like, she's come back as this sort of Aurora character, like we saw in Maelstrom. So it's interesting to see that. I mean, initially there was this whole concept of, you know, okay, she represents Aurora. She'll come back and lead the fleet in a way to Earth. But at the same time, we had the hybrids saying, don't follow Kara Thrace, she'll lead the human race to its end. So now, we're really seeing a point where, oh crap, should they follow her or shouldn't they? And I think it's going to get very interesting to see people split over this issue. Yeah. You guys? Blink, blink, blink. All right, Kevin.
I agree. I think it will get very interesting.
Well, that's good to know.
Oh my god.
I am helping. I'm agreeing with Matt.
Pretty helpful. All right, guys.
You know, you've been sitting here working with her in the fleet for, well, what are we at, 2+ years now. She's always come through one way or another. I can't see her failing in this now. So.
And Anders led the resistance, and Colonel Ty has come through.
So, I mean, basically, I'd go with her.
What about you?
It seems to me that there's likely to be another third party that's influencing her and actually, you know, sending her through the galaxy. Who else is going to be able to do that? And that also may be the party who's behind Baltar's Six and various other aspects in the program.
Well, you know, speaking of the Maelstrom, the third party aspect, we got to remember in Maelstrom, she said she tried to identify that guy as Leoben, and he said, "Who said I'm Leoben?" So there's a perfectly quantifiable idea that this guy might not be one of the Cylons. She could very well be a third party, just like he said.
Well, Baltar sees Six, and Six sees Baltar, and so I mean, we've already established
we've got Head Six,
happened.
we've got Head Baltar, and now we've got Head Leoben.
So we could be dealing with a series of angels dealing with the humans' path.
A message to spread to the rest of humanity.
Well, I'm thinking, guys, anything else you want to talk about on the episode?
Or anything else to add?
Hey, one more.
I think a key point was covered in this episode where you saw Apollo and his father finally break the ice and talk about Zach. It was a very key point, and now we'll see where it goes from here.
Yeah, and it was really neat to see them talk about Zach and think back to Leoben saying Adama is a Cylon. Well, there's 3 Adamas. Unless you count Dee, because she's an Adama now, too.
Yeah, I was actually wondering if Centurions can do that whole activation thing with their eyeball, or, you know, with Anders' eye, too, because, you know, that happened with the ship, but, you know, does it happen with the Centurion dudes, too?
Actually, has Anders ever really been in danger on camera before?
Samson, you have something to add?
Samson?
If you remember the episode Downloaded, he was trapped. He took out a Centurion in the garage, so it might have. I'm not sure if it scanned him or not, but he was in danger a lot.
All right, well, it's looking like next week's going to be pretty brutal. It looks like, no, seriously, it looks like there's a full-on insurgence of skin jobs versus...
And is there a new 6 model? Oh.
Yes, Natalie, is that her name? That should be interesting. Cool. All right, well, I'm thinking that's a wrap for this BSGcast, and thanks, everybody.
Thanks so much for joining us, everyone.
Who made it out.
Thank you to Kat and not.
To Luciana and to Kevin for making it out and making this a very special BSGcast.
Very
so,
cool.
See you guys next week.
Bye.